Let me tell you a little bit about that operation that you didn't see in the movie. When I became director of the CIA, trail to bin Laden was stone cold. Every lead had led nowhere. We pulled together a task force to come together and try everything we could to see if we could locate where he was.
Why is he talking about
Finally, they put together bits and pieces of intelligence that led us to identifying the couriers that worked for bin Laden. We were able to find a name, and we were able to place a face with the name. And we located them in a town in Pakistan called Peshawar. Using surveillance, we were able to track them to a compound located in Abbottabad. That compound caught our attention. It was 3 times larger than any other compound in the area. It had 18-foot walls on one side, 12-foot walls on another side. There was an 8-foot wall on the 3rd floor. Barbed wire around it. People did not communicate. They didn't telephone in the compound. They traveled 90 miles in order to make a telephone call. So we knew that they were involved in very high security. We took every effort we could to see if we could identify who was there. We were able, by identifying the clothes on the clothesline, to identify how many family members actually lived there. The number of family members matched the number in bin Laden's family. But we could never get an ID on bin Laden. There was somebody who used to go out in the middle of the day and walk around in circles in an open area, like a prisoner in a prison yard. Walk around 20 or 30 times and then go back in. And I told my people, I said, we have got to identify who that is. And they said, it's very hard to do, Director. We can't get, the walls are in the way, we can't get a good shot. I said, I've seen a movie where the CIA can do this. But they couldn't, so we never got 100% ID on bin Laden. And so it came to a point where we had to go to the National Security Council to decide whether we conduct the operation. And I can tell you that a majority there felt that the operation was too risky. When the President asked me what I thought, I said, Mr. President, I use an old formula that I've used in Congress, which is when you face a tough decision, pretend you're asking the average citizen, what would you do if you knew what I did? And I felt that if the average citizen knew that we had the best intelligence on the location of bin Laden that we've ever had since Tora Bora, the average citizen would say you have to go. And we also had tremendous confidence in the SEALs to conduct that operation. The next day, the President gave the order, and the SEAL teams departed. 2 helicopters, 150 miles into to Pakistan at night, to a compound that was virtually in the middle of a military complex. When they got there, one of the helicopters stalled and went down. Unfortunately, they were able to land it properly. The SEAL team continued the operation, didn't miss a beat. And they successfully completed that mission. And they sent a clear message to the world that nobody attacks the United States of America and gets away with it. That kind of courage is what made our nation great. And surely if there are men and women in uniform who are willing to fight and die for America, put their lives on the line, then our elected leaders ought to have a little bit of that courage in order to govern this country. Woo! We cannot just give up and wait for the next election to give up because the politics in Washington happen to be tough. Governing is not a pretty please process. It's tough. And you have to fight if you want to win. You've got to work at it if you want a budget deal, to try to deal with the debt that faces this country. to do immigration reform, to pass a fair and just system of immigration reform for this country, to promote income equality so that everybody can enjoy the opportunity that this country offers, and to provide a sound energy policy that can keep our climate and our planet safe. The fact is that they largely have given up. USA Today had a headline that said that this Congress is the least productive Congress ever. Teddy Roosevelt once said, when you're faced with a tough decision, the best thing you can do is to make the right decision. The next best thing you can do is to make the wrong decision. The worst thing you can do is to do nothing. My message to you, graduates of 2014, your degree and your education is a license to action, not an excuse to sit back and do nothing. My father once told me when I graduated from Santa Clara, understand that your degree doesn't entitle you to a damn thing. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. And your seminar education made you think, and now you have to act. Changes in our democracy, I'm afraid, are not going to happen from the top down. It's going to happen from the bottom up. And you're it. You're it. Your education has broadened your knowledge, but it is not a proxy for the guts you need to be successful, to get the job done. There is an essential trait, and it's called sheer grit. To take on greater challenges, to not take the easy way out, to learn things and to solve problems. Our forefathers created a system of governing that is dependent on the power of the people. Power of the people. When I visited one of our bases in Afghanistan, there was a plaque on the wall that I will never forget. It had a verse from the Old Testament, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. And then I heard the voice of the Lord, saying, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? And then I said, here I am, Lord, send me. Send me. In Hebrew, it is hineni, send me. This is the sound of the trumpet that must summon all of us to action, that must summon us to the fight to protect our democracy. It's the call to duty that goes to the heart and soul of what our democracy is all about. It took 250 years for democracy to disintegrate in ancient Athens. And it disintegrated because it was not nurtured. Whether you are in uniform or not, we all have a responsibility to nurture our democracy, to make sure that we have an America in Renaissance, to make sure that we achieve that American dream of giving our children that better life, and to make sure that we always strengthen a government of, by, and for people. And it doesn't mean a damn thing unless you're willing to fight for it. Congratulations, God bless you, and God bless our country.